Hi, everybody. It's me, Trader Max from Shogun, here on April 25th, 2025. And we're going to be talking about, in today's state of Shogun, the 100 million ETH to Sol rotation that happened, the fart coin flying out like a burrito fueled dragon, and of course, the official launch of Galaxy's new Solana ETF. Let's get started. Okay, so listen, when institutions begin to move money around at this level, this $100 million worth of Ethereum being sold for Solana is no little rotation. It's not portfolio balancing. It's not sort of smoothing out their investments. This is a major move, right? This was 65,000 ETH that were dumped and then swapped out for 750,000 plus Solana. Now, why is this such a big thing? Well, one, it sort of institutionalized the whole movement of Solana to heading back up north of 150. And of course, let's be real. ETH's been bleeding out the a-hole for a very long time now. Again, it's still the OG of contracts that are out there, but let me tell you, it's hurting right now. There is some major releases that happened over the last couple of months. Slow to, lots of, break-hearted things that happened to a lot of coins that were firing on ETH. And the whole DEX traffic thing is down too. The usability of it, the network of ETH. Now, I'm not trying to kick a dog, in its down day, right? But it is having a hard time, rebalancing itself. Like Solana can take a hit and then come back because it's easy to use, it's real quick, it's got some security issues every once in a while, but it's still the main source to go to, right? Meanwhile, Solana is having like this whole big, it's plus 500 billion now on the DEX volume, over 220 million users of Solana definitely doing its thing, and actually it's fast and it's cheap and easy to use, right? All that stuff is on the postcard, right? But what it comes down to is this one simple statement: pure conviction, right? That's what it is. We're not done waiting for ETH, but it's still there. It still has a major issue that's happening, and because Solana's ready to play and it's ready to go and its ease of use, it's probably going to come out as the victor in this process. So I hope that you keep struggling with it and keep doing what you're doing. All right, let's talk about it. It's in the room. It's already there. It's a great pun. Fart coin, right? This is mooning harder than it should. But the whole thing about Fartcoin, it's not really about the joke, right? It is really about it. But let's look at what it's become, right? What it started out to what it is now are two different things. It's ripping through resistance. It's doing all that great stuff. There's so many puns we could do forever with this. But listen, it's flying like it's been chugging beans and Red Bull all day long. Why? Well, because it's staying true to its original degen metaphor of just have fun, right? Putting the fun in fundamental, if you will. Now, the good thing about this is like this is also a true indicator of what memes are. When Fartcoin starts doing well and it's really happening, if we jump back over, let's take a look at the screen here of the chart itself. We can kind of see on the 7-day, right? But let's jump back over and look at the last year and what this has been. We're going to drive back over to here in the beginning of the year. If we can kind of see November of last year, as we all know, that Solana also reflects the meme coin world, if you will, on its transparency and what it's doing. But we noticed that there's some chugs in there, right? There's some. This is the biggest wet fart ever, right here in January, right? Because you had a new administration coming, you had all these people coming in. Why is it doing what it's doing? Well, as it faltered down through because they got pushback from Trump's stuff. I'm not saying this is all political, but the meme coin world sits on that edginess of life, right? So then they got into a working model, and Solana repaired itself and got back into the real throw of things, and now it's starting to do well because it is bouncing off. Money's coming back to the industry. So this is one of those fake outs that, some people are like, oh, the meme coin world's dying, it's dead, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden it just starts to flare again, right? It's coming back up into this resistance area right here. Let me drop that right about there, 1.1. Now listen, it's sitting at 1.1 billion right now. Volume 300 million every single day. I went in and made some trades last night and made $100 on it because it does have a good fluctuational basis as we dive into the dailies and we look at the 15-minute charts in the process. still very, very powerful. So the meme coin world is coming back into that process. You know, if you don't know, Fartcoin came out in 2024, right around October, with its Terminal of Truths experiment with the two AIs that talk to each other. So it has some back stories to it in other network. It's not just the meme coin, but it is the power of using it as a gauge on whether or not you should be in the meme coin world or not. All right, let's jump into something that's really changing the industry for Solana right now. And this is where our friends over at CI Galaxy are now just launching their first ever ETF live on a Toronto stock exchange called Solix. Now, let me tell you, I know it's the Toronto Stock Exchange, right? Everybody thinks like, oh, it's not as important. It is. This is a very big jump. If we wanted to jump into what an ETF is, just so you know, it's an exchange traded fund. That's right. It's an exchange that is traded on a public stock exchange, like regular stock exchange, like NASDAQ and the Toronto Exchange. It's traded, which means you could buy and sell it during the market hours, just like shares of Apple or Tesla. And of course, the fund, it holds a basket of assets, not just a single one, but it could be stocks, commodities, or in crypto's case, coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, which is very powerful. Now, the biggest part of all of this is what Galaxy came out with to help sort of stimulate this process, and that's 0% management fees. That's right. Normally it's 0.35%, but it's down to zero for, I think it's the first year. Is it the first year? Yes, it's the first year for early investors. I mean, we're talking zero, nada. We're not talking any fees whatsoever for management. You don't need a wallet. You don't need seed phrases. You don't need to know what staking is or any of that other nonsense in there. Right now, your aunt could go out and buy crypto, with no problem with a retirement account if she wanted to. But listen, this is massive. Big funds now have a green light to load up on the prospects of building liquidity for Solana with SolX, if you will. And the Solana game really gains institutional respect for this now, because Solana now will have an availability to be a tradable asset on an exchange, and it probably will spur other ETFs and other things on board. Between this ETF and Galaxy's $100 million rotation into Solana, which is sort of starting to set the pace here of what Solana is really to come to, and some other things that you've heard about XRP and all that whole world, the institutional respect that they will get now from this point will solidify this to stay north of the $120, $130 mark for Solana in this humble trader's experience. All right, well, the state of alpha for Shogun is pretty impressive for this week. We got through a lot of the demo testing for our Anvil bot 2.5. As you know, we're sitting at 2.0 right now on our version for Anvil bot, and it's doing very well. We have our admin system in there. Now, I had the unique privilege this morning to test out the new admin section, which is incredible. I can't show you pictures of it right now. I wish I could, but yesterday I had an opportunity which we'll go here and show in just a minute, but to look at the NFT marketplace, which was very, very powerful. But let's jump over and have a look at the Anvil 2.5. As you can kind of clearly see, it has the same features as the 2.0. This is always good about version controls, that you don't change it so much that nobody knows what to do with it. It's very intuitive now. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. We have the availability to boost a token, create the token settings, open a wallet, and there are some great changes in here. One of them being the referral system, which we're very excited about. 20% right off the bat. Some of you tokens that are out there, because you're near and dear to us, that you'll have this opportunity to jump in and be a little bit higher than some on that relationship. Now, why this is so important? Because it's just not for the devs anymore. It's for all traders to be able to utilize the system, and as you're utilizing it, you can actually make a couple bucks. That's right. At 20%, somebody puts $100,000 worth of volume through that system. We're getting paid 0.5% of that. That may not seem like a lot of money, but you get 10 or 20 people like that doing that every month, and you're making a decent metal of bank, right? So it's a good thing. Now, also, if you're a KOL or KIL, whatever you may be, if you're somebody with influence, or you have a group, maybe you're a Facebook group owner that wants to kind of create some money in your pocket, the Anvil bot commissional system in there is going to be very powerful for you because it does work. It's very strong, has a low barrier of entry, and all of your coins will be able to get in, even the lower market caps that just want to have put a few cents in a day to keep relativity to their coin in that network. So that's super huge to work with. Right now, up on the screen, you're probably going to be seeing the NFT marketplace Shogun Fusion that I had the unique pleasure yesterday sitting down with the programmers and myself and going through some of the inner workings. I've sped it up there so you can see. The NFT marketplace is live on its own servers and networks, and we've done the contract. We got everything on board. We're so excited about this process because it has minting, it has the marketplace, it has an auction network, it has the collection series. Now, there are still some things that we're still working out. We're looking by next Monday that I'll have some demo stuff in my hands. We're going to be bringing in a crew of people, and we're looking for a full production value about May 5th. Might be sooner, might be later, but listen, there's so many good things. We're still going to release just the minting and marketplace first, and then slowly delve into releasing the certain fusion modules. Right now, there's 4 and 5 of them, of those modules. The first one that we're releasing is just the artist meld, the palette, if you will, in that process. Now, I want to create an iteration while you're watching this little 4-minute clip here. I want to tell you right now that there is a relationship that I misspoke of the other day, okay? Because Chow Chow Meow from Tipsy Token and all the crew that's over there, there's a lot of them that are in working with Shogun here in the Shogun series. And I don't want you to think for a second that I don't appreciate everything that they do on both sides. Some are part of our outreach, some are part of our network solutions. The conclusion here is that they're a partner of Shogun. As far as Tipsy Token, we have all, my son and I, Mr. Quinton and others from our network have, sorry, there's something in my eye. But we have all contributed to everything that's here about Tipsy Token, about the network and that solution. But it is a partnership. Whereas like Tire Dads is a partner of Shogun, and so is Just a Lotto of the NFT marketplace. These guys, I wouldn't have the NFT marketplace if it wasn't for a conceptual meeting that Chow Chow and I had, as well as some few other people. And we sort of put these, I put the fusion part together for us to build out this network and really take this to the next level. So my big thanks to the Tipsy Token Network, which, by the way, later on in a few minutes, we'll be talking about that launch that will be coming out on Sunday, as well as a few things with Launchpad and everything else. But back to the Shogun NFT marketplace. The Shogun Fusion is going to be releasing in this world, and again, 25% of everything it's making is going back into Shogun. So again, make sure you got yourself a bag in there and ready for the future for that generational wealth that'll be coming from that. But you know, April 28th in my hands, May 5th in the world's hands, and starting the process. We're very excited because we have a lot of artists out there that are waiting to use this, because remember, we build things at low barrier of entry, ease of use, and it's all about the artist. We're not going to judge what you're building. We're not going to try to, as long as it's not stolen art, we, you know, the only thing that we really care about is that you're in there, that you're making money for your coin, or you're making money for your art in that process. And then with the fusion system in there, it's going to be so much fun. It's endless of the ideas and concepts that we can come up with. All right, now, finally, let's talk about the release this weekend for the Tipsy Token. There is a token that's coming out. We're very excited about that. If you want to get on board, I'm going to have a link down in the video here for you to go over and talk to them. It's going to be an invite to the Telegram group, so you can see what's going on and reach out to Shane and get everything on board. There are some nuances in there. You want to make sure that, you know, there's a buying process. And it's a very unique way to do this, and I hope that you guys are excited about it, because I am too. All right, so a lot of good stuff coming. This is the end of the week. It's the 25th of April, and I have tried to give you everything we got in the state of Shogun. Thank you very much. This has been about a 15-minute series, and I hope that you like these, because we're going to start putting these out. This is the first real standalone state of Shogun, so we hope you enjoy it. I look forward to seeing you next time. Make sure that you subscribe and that you get on board with us. We really appreciate all of you. Hit the notifications, because they're coming. And I'm Trader Max. We look forward to seeing you next time. And as always, trade well.